Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and today we're going to be looking at some more footage that I recorded from the Destiny beta. As of right this minute, the Destiny beta is offline, and unfortunately I will not be able to play this game until it comes out in September, and I'm very sad, but oh well. I have plenty of footage that I still want to share on my YouTube channel, so I am going to do that. I'm also going to be covering some of the updated news and whatnot as that comes out, but the point of this video, and anyone who actually played the Destiny beta probably won't care much for this video, is we're going to be exploring Old Russia. Old Russia is the first and really the only major zone of the beta, and it takes place on Earth, obviously. It's not exactly a very sound and safe Earth. You'll learn a little bit more about that in the future. But I actually, despite seeing plenty of Old Russia, like, this is where we spent all but 2 hours of the beta was either here or in the tower, which is the major hub, I guess, of the game, and in the Crucible, which is, 4 maps that I played on. I believe it was Earth, Mars, the Moon, and Venus were the 4 PvP maps that I played there. But despite having seen plenty of this zone, I still have fun exploring in Destiny, and Destiny really does reward people who like to look in every nook and cranny of the game. There's collectibles that I'm going to occasionally stop and point out where you can get some of them, like right here. The only reason I'm including this footage is because you can find collectibles called Dead Ghosts, and you can find one right up there on that on the back of that sign that I was just looking at. There's going to be another one that's coming up here soon. And on top of that, by hopping on these buildings and going in these rooms, like you see me going in here, I check these rooms very, very often. There's usually loot chests in there, which can contain Glimmer, which is basically this game's money. They can include gear, and they can include crafting materials and things like that. There's another Dead Ghost you can find right here. This isn't a Dead Ghost guide, by the way, but while I'm exploring Old Russia, I might as well point out to you guys when I at least know where there's a Dead Ghost. I'm sure I missed quite a few Dead Ghosts, and I only have 2 of the 5 golden chests, which are another collectible that's out there in the world that it actually mentions to you on the world map. But Old Russia is actually a pretty big zone, and there are still areas that I haven't really explored, but I know other people have explored and have found some really dangerous enemies. I really didn't get to experience much of those enemies until I was on the moon, but that'll be for another video as well. Now, one thing I think Bungie did really well with this introductory zone in Old Russia is that, yeah, the snow and the ground, like, that's a lot of the same. I mean, you can't really make that many different kinds of grass and ground and snow. By the way, Spin Metal Leaves, another crafting material that you're going to, or at least a material you can collect and then trade in when you get to the tower. There's seems to be a different crafting material for each planet or each world, because on the moon I found something entirely different. When I get to my moon footage, I'll talk about that a little bit more. And even though they reuse some aspects like the containers or, sometimes a shelf or tables, they reuse those quite a bit. It's still, every place in Old Russia feels unique, and I really like the feeling of Earth. I recognize that this is Earth, all but a destroyed Earth, but I still recognize it. By the way, I also found, I don't remember if it was a loot chest up here or a Dead Ghost, but you can come check this area out. I'm sure that I found a loot chest up here at some point. And I guess it's not like I thought they've had a lot of attention to detail, but at the very least, they really tried to make every area feel unique. Even the buildings, which you'd think, oh, a bunch of buildings, they're probably very similar layouts. I feel like the only resource that they may have overused is the coves, or the caves, I guess I should say. There's caves and there's rooms that you can enter, like the one I entered before, where you can find loot chests. Those are almost always just carbon copies of one another. But other than that, every different building, every different hallway, it all felt different. And you know what? Even though Bungie doesn't want this to be compared to an MMO, it does share some similarities to an MMO. I don't believe this is an MMO. I don't classify it as one. But it's hard to not make it's hard to not make connections between the two. And really, why am I just okay? I guess I thought I could get through that, because there are still a lot of closed doors in Old Russia, and I feel like when the beta's over, we may be able to get past them. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see here. So, but yeah, it's not like in an MMO where a lot of the times I'll go into a dungeon and I'll immediately recognize reused resources and things like that. Like I said, the only thing I really noticed that was reused a lot were containers and shelves and things like that. Like this, there's no other area that looks like this exact hallway in the game, and this is one of the most memorable rooms for me, if not for the layout. There's actually a Dead Ghost somewhere here. Yeah, that glowing thing right there. That's another Dead Ghost. Maybe I accidentally found every dead ghost in this video, and this will ultimately become a dead ghost guide. Who knows? I'm sure I missed quite a few, and since you can't really go back and look at the locations of the old ones, if I do a dead ghost location guide, I'll probably have to look up some of them just to confirm where I picked up some of them myself, because I picked up I think like 9 or something. I don't know. I'll have to check my grimoire. But yeah, I overall was just really impressed. And one of my favorite things about exploring in the beta, and we're going to be coming up on that soon, was looking for areas with super strong enemies. And this right now, I love these areas, by the way, these areas that are just pitch black and all you have is your flashlight. I like venturing into these kind of zones alone, and lo and behold, I actually came here because earlier when I procured footage, I found these level 20s, and it's going to say question mark for the Hollowed Knight, but if it kills you, it tells you what level it is. So I'm going to speed up this footage right here. Now, I did not think that this would work, but man, I've praised the AI for these things before, but the fact that they could not notice this flashlight or detect my movement, man, I guess sneaking really is a good thing to do in this game. I guess I'm really going to have to play around with the sneaking mechanics of the game, because I didn't think that this should, I just don't think they should be able to recognize the flash. One thing that was weird is, I don't know if they're chasing me right now or if they disappeared. I don't know. They just weren't there anymore. But I really like that they hide those level 20 areas, but I snuck around there and you saw there was nothing of importance in there. One thing that I'm guessing, because enemies that have those, I'm colorblind, so I don't know if they're yellow or green. The health bars that aren't reddish, I guess, those tend to be enemies that are either bosses, they could be ultras, majors, or bosses. And sometimes they're just strong enemies that tend to drop glimmer, or at least more of it, on a regular basis. Those might be areas that are good for farming glimmer. Those enemies might pose even a challenge to level 20s. I'm not sure yet. But another thing coming up here is, I love this. When they first introduced this part of Old Russia to you, this is one of my favorite parts, because one of my favorite parts about exploring is using this mount, which feels a lot like a Halo Ghost. And I'm going to be making a lot of comparisons to Halo, because I feel that Bungie took the things people liked about Halo and made sure to include them in this game. It's hard to deny that there aren't some very Halo-esque things in this game. It's impossible to deny that. You simply can't. This is actually a world event I'm doing right now. I figured I'll just speed through this, stop it off. Now, this is why I made a comment in my first impressions and review that some of these events, you don't really have a lot of time. And if you're not lucky, like I was right there, to actually have people nearby, those are almost impossible to complete on the regular. Having a group of friends and a fire team can really, really make that easier. But the real reason why I came over here, other than the fact that I love the ghost and I love driving through that canyon, is another level 20 area that I actually wanted to explore. When I was getting this footage, I actually hadn't gotten past the first 1 or 2 enemies, and we're going to teleport right there into the future. I hadn't really got past. I see him being shot. Those enemies are level 20, and they'll pretty much kill me in maybe 2 shots. Sometimes I survive 1 shot long enough I don't know. I was surprised that I managed to get past them, but I really wanted to see what was past this, because just because there are level 20 enemies here and they will kill me in 1 or 2 hits doesn't mean Bungie's going to stop me from at least trying to go there. By the way, another dead ghost here. You're going to see it in a second. Figured I'd include it. Found this while I was discovering the area, so I figured I'll include it. I'm one of those people who loves collectibles, so I am going to be trying to collect all of them. Now, one thing I really wanted to do is like, okay, there's level 20 enemies here, but unlike the other level 20 areas, there's a lot of shit here. Excuse my language. But there is a lot of enemies here and a giant underground hive that I really wanted to check out. Now, I was trying to find a way to get specifically into the hive area, and then I saw this little cave over here, and I'm like, well, most of the little caves I see just end up being little loot chests. Then I walked in, I was like, oh, okay, this is a real cave. All right, we're going to walk in. Oh, no, I guess I should go the other way, and boop. Yeah, didn't make it. I've seen footage of deeper in that cave, and there's a very, very powerful enemy known as an ogre. And I'll speak more about them when I get to the moon, but this is another enemy I found, the Shrieker. The Shrieker and the Ogre are the only 2, like, really unique enemies I found. By the way, I'm going to fail a bunch of times trying to get in here, and I'm dead. You're going to see a bunch of attempts right here. But the Ogre and the Shrieker were both really cool enemies. The Ogre was like it's like a giant bipedal, just death machine that machine guns you and charges at you, and it doesn't mess around. But from what I've seen, it's a normal enemy. It's just a very strong normal enemy. Similar to how the knights are very strong. The ogres are a step up from the knights. I think I finally make it in on this attempt. And yeah, I made it past in that attempt. Yay. And the Shrieker is... the Shrieker is really annoying. It just shoots homing missiles, and when it dies, it shoots even more of them. So I go into this cave, and a lot of hive in here. Some thralls, some acolytes, knights, wizards. Pretty much every enemy in the hive's repertoire, except for an ogre, was in this cave. So I just start double jumping my way through here, like, I am amazed I did not get killed jumping through the cave like this. I figured they might be better shots than that, but at this point I'm just like, don't turn around, don't turn around, don't turn around, just keep running, just keep running. See what's on the other side of this cave before they find you and kill you. You can do it, you can do it, just keep running. And then it starts to look familiar, and then I recognize that I am in the refinery. There's actually a quest in the Explorer Zone that takes you to that very entrance, and now I know where it leads. It seems to just be a path between one half of Old Russia to the other half, and that's really all I could find in it. And it takes you to this area, the refinery, which is basically where the first strike of the game takes place, the Devil's Lair. I'm actually running around where the second boss of the strike takes place against the Devil Walker. By the way, Dead Ghost spawns right on that table. Made sure to include this footage in that. And now I'm going to run away. I've actually killed that Devil Walker. It doesn't do anything special. You can't go to where the final boss of the first strike is either. So I just liked that area was open, but it really bothered me that I didn't find anything here. So I figured, oh, yeah, throw that grenade. That'll keep him distracted. Oh, I shouldn't have ran it. Oh, okay, well, that was a bad idea. Let's try that again. So, yeah, I'm already not doing so well here, but I think I survive a good deal longer in this one. So I noticed that there are these little caves that remind me of the ones above the surface where I look for loot chests. And that's exactly what they are. This is a dead end. The fact that I make it out of here is nothing short of a miracle, if you ask me. I couldn't find anything in this cave, but like I said, in the other cave that I didn't actually go all the way through, I've seen footage of that cave, and that's where the ogres and the stronger enemies appear. This spot right here, you see me being really bad at killing these enemies because I wasn't even going to include this footage. I was just going to go right to the end of the cave, but I figured, I'll give him a good laugh, melee this captain a few times, and we'll consider it a success. There's a dead ghost in here right around right there, and then you can drop down here if you're really all that curious. But overall, I was very, very happy with Old Russia, and I'm really looking forward to this. This was just me trying to break the boundaries of the game, see how far I could get, see if there's any secrets, because this game really does reward you for trying to find secrets. And when I show you my footage of the moon, you'll see what I mean. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the Destiny beta. If you didn't play it, if you did play it, if you didn't play it, hopefully you're looking forward to trying out Destiny when it comes out. This was recorded on the PlayStation 3 version, but I will be playing on the PlayStation 4 version when it comes out. I just have that Glacier White PlayStation 4 reserved. So the Destiny bundle one. So I couldn't play the beta on the PS4 for the same reason, but I was able to play it on the PS3, thankfully. Really looking forward to posting more Destiny footage as the game comes closer. Going to be explaining some of the subclasses we didn't really get to explore just yet, and going to be keeping updates on Destiny. I'm really looking forward to adding this content to my channel. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Destiny footage. Check out the other videos on my channel if you would, and until next time, take care.